The following podcast is recommended for mature audiences only. The following podcast is recommended for adults only. Maturity is not a requirement.
Hello and welcome to episode number 30 of Dear Download, a podcast where we get to...
Sorry, celebrating arm fling.
Yeah. A podcast where we get to share our most intimate and treasured memories of Download Festival. We'll talk about each year, the bands we saw, the bands we missed, and everything else noteworthy that happened across the weekend. Also, we'll touch upon any news, other festivals, and the music industry past, present and future. This week, we are talking about albums that were released 30 years ago.
And 20, and 10.
Surprise! Well, before we do that, I'm Adam, and of course, I am here with YouTube sensation Simon Bond.
Jesus Christ. Hi.
He didn't ask me to. He did ask me to say
Definitely
that.
not a sensation. More like a whimper or a fart.
A whimper.
Yeah. Or a fart. A fart on YouTube. That's what it feels like. I've just farted out my content. Just farted out another video. There we go. Nice.
So
thanks for the introduction, dude.
No problem. So what was it, about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago? Simon sent me a list of a load of albums that we should talk about in this episode, and some were from 30 years ago. Some from 20 years ago, some from 10 years ago, like all sort of 10 anniversaries, I guess.
Yes.
And of course, I didn't get round to listening to all of them because I don't have the time. So I listened to most of them that were out 30 years ago. So I just wanted to run it by you in the episode, so the listeners will have a clue what this episode is going to be about as well, rather than checking with you beforehand.
Yeah.
Hence the surprise. But yeah, no,
surprise.
I thought it could be a good idea. Because I've just done the 30-year anniversary ones, if we just do like a shorter episode this episode, and then just do another one next week and the week after, so do it over 3 weeks, but without the 2-week gap. So 3 short episodes instead of 2 long, well, 1 long episode about it.
Yeah, sweet.
Excellent, because yeah, I struggled, if I'm honest. I don't know how well you... I didn't know what kind of detail you'd want to go into with talking about these albums. So,
well, just like a general chat about them. If you liked them, if you don't like them, if you're a fan of any of them, if there's any good songs you like or any reason you hate them, or then just a general chit chat about the band's influence that they had. Yeah, loads of shit.
Exactly, yeah, because you had, well, so for example, you had Rage Against the Machine's album on there, which was called...
Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I listened to that today, and and it was like, yeah, the music's okay, but the whole Rage Against the Machine thing was more than the music, wasn't it? So I didn't know if you want to go into that much detail, and I'd require a lot more time and go into do a lot more sort of research into it to be able to talk about it in a lot of detail.
Well, yeah, I just wanted us to we'll just talk about whatever chit chat that led us to about the band or anything surrounding it. And, kick on.
Excellent. Okay. Well, yeah, that's what we're doing this episode then. But before we do that, Simon, how has your last couple of weeks been? It feels like ages since we last spoke, even though it's only been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't feel ages for you. It doesn't feel ages for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it feels like we spoke a couple of days ago.
Oh, okay. Maybe it feels like we spoke a couple of months ago.
It's going quicker for me maybe than it is for you. Yeah, it literally feels like we just done the episode the other day.
Awesome. I don't remember what the last one was about.
Time is relevant, people. Time really is relevant to you.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's gone super quick. For Adam, it's gone super slow, apparently.
Yeah.
It's been like 4 months since we spoke. But yeah, I'm good.
I've been longing to hear your voice again, and it's just like, when you're waiting for something, and it's...
Well, if people listen to this, they're probably fed up with my voice. They're like, fuck me. Does this Simon guy ever shut up? Does he ever let Adam speak? Or the answer is no. Shut up. This is my show. No, it's not my show. This is very much Adam's show. I'm just a guest.
No, but
He's the man.
This is a bit where I will have a conversation, but I'll cut all of my bits out. So it sounds like you are just not letting me.
No, I'm just talking to myself.
I know. Sorry, I interrupted. How has your last couple of weeks been, man?
Yeah, good. Yeah, nothing much has happened in me life. I'm still trying to sort out band stuff for people. You know, I'm on like join my band and band mix and all that shit. So I'm just trying to find the right sort of people to join to do that stuff. So definitely looking into get into a band before the end of the year. And then apart from that, really just, you know, work and then house stuff. The house is like coming along like crazy. So it's about a month and a half, 2 months now before we move into the house. So when we went to see it the other day, it's just so far along now. It's really starting to look like an actual house. So yeah, I'm just excited about that. Been packing a few things, which Vicky's been getting very upset about because she loves the house that we live in now.
Yeah.
And you know, like when you have a room and you have all your like knickknacks and stuff out and it looks like your room.
Yeah.
And now I'm putting all those away. So when you walk into a room, it's just a room. There's no pictures on the wall. There's no little things on the side. So yeah, she's getting a bit sad about that. But I'm like, babe, I am not fucking packing this entire house like a week before we move. I'm sorry, that ain't happening. So knickknacks and shit we don't use is getting packed like from now till then, slowly.
Impressive, man.
She will thank me.
Good thinking.
She will thank me, yeah, because I can't do that, man. I can't rush. Let's get it all packed. Then when my brother turns up with a van, fucking load all this shit, gone. Like, let's not fuck around with it. So yeah. So that's all I've been doing, really. Yeah, that's it, mate. This isn't really news or anything, but I got stung by a stinging nettle today on my leg, and I haven't been stung by a stinging nettle for quite some time.
Yeah.
My leg is still sore. It really fucking hurt. Like, it must have been like a super stinging nettle, but I don't remember them hurting that much. But I was walking, I was like, yeah, I just brushed past that stinging nettle. Okay. Because I was wearing shorts. And I'm like, that fucking hurts. I don't remember it hurting that much. My leg's still like a little bit sore now, so it must have been the proper fucking business. But anyway, sorry, I'm babbling.
Well, yeah.
How are you, dude? What's been up?
Oh no, I was going to say that's what happens with climate change. You know, climate getting colder in the winter, hotter in the summer, and it creates these more vicious plants. You know,
in 10, stinging nettles.
10, 15 years time, we'll be a little shop of horrors stage. Probably.
Everything's just going to start coming alive, baby.
Feed me, boy. Feed me now.
It's good. I like it. I like your deep voice.
I was practicing that before we started. Actually, I was going, hello and welcome to episode 30 of Dear
So
Download.
You were just sitting there practicing your is this the sort of stuff that you get up to when you're doing the podcast?
Yeah.
You just sit there and practice your deep voice?
Yes, for 2 weeks. That's been my 2 weeks. That was my 2 weeks, just practicing something that I didn't even do.
So yeah, seriously though, what's up?
Wow.
How have you been?
A couple of major, well, was it a couple? Well, at least one major thing. My son, Soren, my oldest, had his first day of school today, which, thank you. Yeah, which was incredible. I was working. I knew he started at about 1, and we normally work sort of a bit past 1. I worked my ass off to try and get there for 1, and I got there like with a minute to spare. And the whole time I was thinking, like, I hope they haven't just sort of all walked in, but you know they weren't. They were all queuing up to be let in. So it was nice. I got there with about 5 minutes before he actually went in.
Oh, that's cool, man.
All dressed up in his school uniform and everything. It's a school that I went to as well, and it hasn't changed much. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so nice. He had his last day of nursery yesterday, and I picked him up, and I was almost weeping a little bit. It was I wasn't expecting it. It just kind of hit me. I was like, oh, this is kind of sad.
It's quite a big change, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
You know, your kid going to school is like a big deal. Like, you know, we've got pictures of me and my brother in our like school uniforms the first day that we went, and all that. I think it is for parents. It's quite a big deal because you know it's like the beginning of them sort of growing up, really, isn't it? Like that first day of proper school, and then from there, next thing you know, you'll be 13 and in high school. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, my sister's kids. Like I remember her oldest started secondary school recently, but he's like going to year 10 now. Like, it does just fly by.
Yeah, it will.
It doesn't feel like that long ago. And
that's
but yeah,
crazy.
there's
But that's
one
cool,
thing,
man. That's wicked.
Yeah. Oh man, it's great. It's a great feeling, but also scary and lots of other emotions in there mixed in there as well. But yeah, I was going to say one thing. One thing I read not long after he was born, and it is so true for anybody who doesn't have kids yet. And it was the days are long, but the years are short, and that is so true. You know, every night once they get into bed, we're both exhausted. It has been a really long day, but yeah, but it's just flown by as well somehow.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But cool, man. Yeah, well done. That's very cool. A cool day, and like a marked day, like you'll always remember it.
Yeah, and I'm glad I managed to get there as well, because I was panicking a little bit, thinking I might not get there in time.
Yeah, well done, man. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome. I'm getting a bit emotional now.
Don't cry on the podcast, okay? We're men in tights. What else has been up?
Nothing else really. I want to talk about the ultimate lineup really quickly before we go into anything else as well. We just finished. I don't know if you've seen. Have you been following it?
Of course, man.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't know if you've seen who won the Saturday. That we did the final for the Saturday headliner yesterday, and it was Iron Maiden versus Metallica.
Yeah, that's the big boy.
Yeah, and Metallica won it. I was not expecting that. I don't know why, but because more people enjoy them, I guess.
It's probably not that. It's probably that the people are just fucking fed up with Iron Maiden now.
I did wonder that.
Download so much.
Yeah.
So now they're like, we want Metallica to play next year. We also want them to win this fucking thing. Fed up with Maiden. Metallica.
Yeah. But yeah, this is not me just being like, I love Iron Maiden. I don't understand how Metallica beat them. I do. Metallica are massive and great anyway. I wasn't expecting it. I was just assuming Iron Maiden would win. But yeah, like you said, it could be that. It could be that people were looking forward to Metallica because they haven't played Download since 2012. It could just be that more people like Metallica than Iron Maiden. But I hope it's outraged as many of you as it has me, and you want to come onto our Discord to help even the scores, settle the scores,
settle some scores on the Sunday, baby. That's what we want to do.
Yeah,
let's settle some scores on the Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if Iron Maiden have ever headlined Sunday. Metallica have.
They have. 2016, the Book of Souls. I Want to Kill Myself.
So it could be Iron Maiden versus Metallica final again.
Final, yeah.
So come and join our Discord, and because that's pretty much all I've been posting about on our social media. We spoke about you posting about the deadline day earlier. That's pretty much all I've been doing. I've been taking not a break from it, but I've started playing a new game recently. Actually, it's probably not something you'd be that interested in, but I thought I'd say it just in case anybody listening might be. But yeah, I've started playing a game called Legends of Runeterra.
Okay, what the fuck is that?
You never heard of it? So it's a card game, a bit like Hearthstone.
Okay,
you heard of that one?
I've heard of that.
But yeah, made by Riot, the people who do League of Legends. And
I've heard of League of Legends.
And Vanguard, is that their shooter? It's a bit like Apex Legends. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I just thought I'd mention it. If there's anybody listening who plays it, who wants to add me and give me some tips, because I'm not very good at it at the moment. I got very good at Hearthstone when I was playing that, so I'm hoping to get as good at this, but it seems like there's more to learn than in Hearthstone. So any tips and beginner's advice would be very much appreciated, because it's all new. It's been going for a while. So learning.
Go and help a brother out, man. Yeah. Man needs your skills.
Yeah.
So help him out if you play it.
Excellent. Yeah, but that's pretty much. See, most nights I would sit down and try and do something for the podcast, but I just want to play that every night. As soon as I get time, I was like, right, I want to get onto this. So
that's good, man.
Another reason why it's been a bit quiet on the posting front. So yeah, again, thank you for doing that one earlier, just so people remember that we exist.
Yeah, well, it's an important day. So what Adam's talking about is it's for all our football fans out there, which turns out there are quite a few listeners to this podcast that also like football, like me. It's deadline day, which is quite an important day in the world of football. Everyone tries and get their transfers done. It ends up being mental. People go here, people go there. It's like a fucking crazy day. So I thought I'd put something out to sort of give a holler to our like rock/football fans. So yeah, but I mean, bring them back to Maiden. They're big football guys and rock guys as well. So
yeah, no, like I said to
you
you
were
earlier.
saying you're wearing the jersey, weren't you?
Yeah, I bought the Final Frontier football shirt. I bought the away and the home kits at Sonosphere. In 2010 on the Final Frontier tour, and that was the first time I wore it yesterday. First time ever. Because they said
a lot of wear out of those.
Yeah. Well, they said we want to wear football shirts at the strike. For anybody new listening, I'm a postman, so yeah, we were on strike yesterday. And I was like, well, I haven't got any football shirts. I got like a 2006 Arsenal shirt that comes down to about my knees. And it said, my brother got it for me. It says Coxey #1 on it. And it's an outfield shirt. And when I was like, can't wear this. It's got #1 on it. So,
I love it.
So I did wear it out quite a lot, though. Yeah, I had a lot of sentimental value. But yeah, I didn't want to wear that one. So yeah, I wore my Final Frontier football shirt for the first time ever in 12 years.
Sweet shirt, dude.
Yeah. Well, I was pissed off. It was funny, actually, when I bought them at Sonosphere, Simon. When I bought both of them, and they were like £75 each, and I was paying with cash because, yeah.
God.
And the guy looked at me and was like, "This is not normal. So do you mind if I check this cash? I'm just going to check your money to make sure it's real, because this isn't normal." So he checked it, and it was all fine.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, it's true, though. You know, you do get these Maiden nerds, though, that do buy these home and away shirts. So.
Yeah. I haven't bought any since. And I was really annoyed because they brought out a third kit, which was like a mixture of the two after Sonosphere. And I was like, I ain't fucking buying another one. Pricks. Anyway.
You know these bands, they're going to try and squeeze every inch of fucking cash out of their fans, which is fine.
But yeah, that's been my 2 weeks and more, as per usual. Do you have any news? We were talking about one album that's come out recently. Have you got any others before we talk about that?
No, I mean, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into releases.
Okay, well, we'll bring Simon in for the news, shall we, really quickly? Simon, come over here. Get over here.
Get over here. This is the news. We've got news coming for you now. Just shut up. The news is going to come now. This is the news.
Thank you, Simon.
Well, this isn't really news. There was one thing I was just going to ask you because I watched a video on it yesterday. So this doesn't count as news, but
okay. We
could put it in the news section. Did you play... How many of the GTA games did you play?
One.
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't ask you this question.
Games are like albums for me.
Honestly,
bands.
This guy. No, because I watched a video yesterday and it was like ranking the GTA games from worst to best, and I was going to ask you what your favourite GTA game is, but since you've only played one, that's probably the one you're going to say.
I've only played one properly, so I played a bit of GTA 3 when I was driving from school around a friend's house, but we didn't really do much with many of the missions or anything. Vice City, I played after I played San Andreas, because I loved San Andreas so much. And I was like, I vowed to play every GTA game that came out after that because it was such a good game. And I got Vice City, got to a certain mission, couldn't do it, and I got fed up and then never played a GTA game again.
So you haven't even played GTA 5 at all?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's just crazy. That's just crazy to me, that is. Especially for someone who, actually has played video games. That's mad.
Well, while we're here, I'm going to say this. There's something I said on the old podcast. Well, something I figured out on the old podcast. I started playing Hearthstone, like I said earlier. I don't know when it was now. Probably 8 years ago. Well, I was playing World of Warcraft a bit before that, but since then, I have not played hardly any single player games. I've only really played online games, like competitive games, like Hearthstone, Rocket League. And I used to hate games like that before that. I was like, I don't want to compete against other people and just get my ass kicked all the time. Because you actually have to take time to learn to get better at the game, to be able to compete.
Yeah.
But then for 10 years, that's all I did somehow. So I missed out on so many single-player games.
Yeah, big time. I mean, it's not really competitive, but, GTA 5 online is probably like one of the biggest online games of all time.
Yeah,
but obviously, it's not. It's weird. It's a bit more free roam.
Yeah.
You do racing and stuff in it, but it's not really that competitive like other games. But yeah, no, I was just going to ask you. So I'm guessing San Andreas is your one then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like top 3. Like top 3. I was just saying what I was going to bring up is like I think probably Vice City or GTA 5 are my favorite, but the one GTA I didn't play was the GTA that everyone considers to be the best even to this day, which is GTA 4.
Okay. Oh, really? I
never played it.
Yeah,
I never played it. Even in the list, it was number 1.
Yeah.
And other people just like, even GTA 5, like, which is an amazing game, looks fantastic. Even to this day, it's brilliant. It came out in 2013. It's just,
it's almost 10 years old.
Added to. Yeah. But it's still incredible. Like, I still go on and play it every now and then. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, this game's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone always goes on about GTA 4 and how you can do even more in that game than you can in GTA 5. Like the mechanics are better, the AI's better, and just, general shit. But I never got around to playing it. So I was just saying, I think I'm actually gonna, this winter, when I'm not out doing as much, I think I might give it a bash.
Yeah, nice.
GTA 4 action and actually see if it is up there with Vice City and San Andreas and GTA 5. So yeah. I'm excited to do that. But yeah, that's cool, man. I expected you to have played... You've obviously played little bits of a load of them, but I was expecting you to have played more of GTA.
Well, like I said, cool. I absolutely loved San Andreas. It was the best game ever at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to play every game they release after this.
I think that and GTA 4 are considered to be like... I think GTA 5 as well, just because it's so new and you can do so much. But I think those 3 are considered to be like the best GTAs.
Yeah.
And San Andreas is always people's like first or second because it is so good.
Yeah.
I think I might download the remake version because they remade it, didn't they?
Oh, okay. I don't really follow Rockstar games.
Okay. Yeah, done like a
anyway.
remake for like PS4, so I might download that because I downloaded the Vice City remake and played that a couple of months ago. That was great.
Yeah.
Really, really cool to see the games just upscaled a little bit,
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking awesome. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm babbling.
No,
the other thing I wanted to say quickly before we go to the news.
Okay.
Go on. Sorry, but you were going to say something.
I was going to ask what your favourite Final Fantasy game is.
Well, I've only played 1, 2.
Is that 7 and 8?
I played 7 and 8, yeah.
Well, it's always between them. People only ever say 7's the best or 8's the best. So which did you prefer?
Oh, 7's the one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
7's the one because it has nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
Like having a PlayStation, PlayStation 1, was just incredible. When that game came out, I was just like, this is crazy. This is such a good game.
Yeah.
I loved every second of it. So yeah, Final Fantasy 7 is the one for me, definitely. What about you? 7?
7, yeah. Again, like I said, once you get out of Midgar, and the first time it takes you probably 10, 12 hours, and you're like, that was the size of a lot of games back then, and you're like, this is tiny. The whole world is massive. Like, I've only done a tiny bit.
It's quite unexpected when you get through that game, but it is incredible. I haven't played it for a very long time, but it brings. But when I see pictures and stuff of it, it just brings back so many good memories. FF7, it's fucking amazing. We might as well just start another podcast again.
Yeah,
just talking about games.
Well, I mean, we should definitely do a game episode now. Again, we've said before we got loads of different things we want to do now that we're not going to be talking about festivals as much, and we can talk about games like definitely the Tony Hawk's games.
We said we were going to do. Yeah, I'll start getting some notes down this week and we'll do a game episode because music and games are just like we said about the wrestling one. I know we haven't done a wrestling episode yet. We said we will because wrestling and music hand in hand, video games and music hand in hand. There's so much stuff that we can do. So yeah, definitely we will do a games episode.
I'll speak to Top Turnbuckle again. If you knew, they're friends of mine, and they started a podcast, Top Turnbuckle. It's all about wrestling. I don't know what else because I don't like wrestling. But we're definitely going to do a crossover episode with them. I think it's going to be fun because I'll be able to sort of...
Wait, you don't like wrestling or you don't watch wrestling?
I don't... Neither.
When was the last time you watched wrestling?
All the time now because I follow them on Facebook and it keeps coming up on my fucking sponsored things or adverts. It's like, I don't want to watch wrestling adverts or promoted wrestling shit. It's just because I stop on their stuff because there's the little bits that are interesting, but it's all the other shit around it, like the soap opera stuff that's around it.
Do you know what's really weird, actually? We're talking about albums that came out in 1992 today that are 30 years old. Do you know it's been exactly 30 years since WWE have hosted an event, a proper pay-per-view in Britain?
Really? Oh.
Yeah, it was SummerSlam 92. I know they've done a couple of ones in the Attitude Era, but they don't really count because they were shitty ones.
Yeah.
But a proper big-time pay-per-view event, yeah, Clash at the Castle in Wales is happening this year.
And
the last time that happened...
this weekend or something, isn't it?
Yeah, the last time that happened was 1992, which is exactly 30 years, which is what we're talking about today.
You know.
So that's fucking
Spooky.
weird.
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so it's, fucking awesome. Anyway, sorry. We're babbling. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about before we just get to the releases.
Go on.
Everyone was going on about the 1975 and about how they replaced Rage Against the Machine at Reading. I watched the highlights and I watched the 1975 and I really liked them. I know there's no comparison between the two, but I'd never really heard the 1975 before properly. But I really liked it. I thought they were great. I thought they were like really like throwback 80s. They had a sax. It kind of sounded like a bit like old school Phil Collins. There's a Russian band that I like called Tesla Boy, which kind of do like 80s throwback stuff. Thought it sounded like that. I really enjoyed it. I don't really see why they get so much hate. I thought it was quite good.
Yeah.
I was like, it was actually pretty good. Yeah, I really liked it. I actually wrote down the song that I listened to because I want to listen to it again because I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyway.
While we're on that...
Go on.
Oh.
Go on.
Well,
go on.
Yeah, he's let me talk this time. No, he always does. I'm being an asshole.
Anyway, shut up. I'm talking. No, go on.
If you watched that, did you watch the Bring Me the Horizon set?
I was literally just just to talk about that.
Okay, sorry.
That was the next thing I was going to talk about. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I mean, when you watch, if you go and watch the highlights or you watch the songs they've put up, I mean, talk about ready to headline fucking Download or, I mean, the stage show, his fucking best he's ever sounded, best the band's ever sounded. Bringing fucking Ed Sheeran on was like taking shit to a whole new level.
Did he bring Ed Sheeran on? Did he?
Yeah, because they done that Shape of You, didn't they? The Bring Me the Horizon version with him.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, so they done that. And fuck, I was thinking to myself because there was so much buzz about it and everyone liked it so much and like the stage show was brilliant. They were great. I was like, if Download have them as headliners, now's the fucking time to announce it because you want to come off of that buzz. I know it's a buzz off of another festival, but who gives a fuck?
Well, it's their own festival anyway.
People were really like, you know, fuck, this was really good. Like, why are they not headlining other festivals?
Yeah.
If Download haven't capitalized on that and they are headlining, they've missed something there. Because I think that a lot of people that go to like Reading and stuff would be like, ooh, they were really good and they're headlining Download next year, and then you attract new people. Yeah.
But it sounds like you don't want to attract Reading and Leeds people.
Oh, well, probably half the people I know went to Reading before they went to Download.
Just going on, I mean, so I haven't heard any specifics. I've heard from people that have heard there was a lot of shit and riots going on at Reading and Leeds this year.
Yeah, I heard there was some shit.
But I didn't see anything firsthand. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I can't say I saw any proper articles about it or, you know, saw any videos about what happened.
Yeah, I haven't seen. All I heard was stuff happened,
yeah.
But no one's come out with any details. So I'm not. That could have just been two people having a fight that got escalated to
some
people fight at festivals.
Yeah, some comments I saw was like they were just taking notes from the Woodstock documentary, and that makes it sound quite bad if they're comparing it to that. Obviously, it wasn't going to be anywhere near as bad as that, but
no,
if you're comparing
I can't comment. I haven't heard any details
me either.
of it.
It's like you.
But yeah,
you
a lot of people I know were gone.
It's like you would think we would look up some news to do and try and read into that a bit more, that sort of thing, a bit more to give as news for a podcast we do about music and festivals.
We'll see if anything comes out of it. Because the only article I saw was there was some trouble.
Yeah.
They didn't really go into much detail. I was like, okay, so things happened then, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks for the detail, bro. Cool article. I bet you're getting paid more money than I am.
Yeah.
For writing an article about nothing.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, but anyway, sorry. My point was, that Bring the Horizon, announce it now. Hurry up, Download. Get it done. Get it done. Don't announce Def Leppard, Iron Maiden, and someone else, because I don't think anyone would come.
Well, the thing is, there's something I've thought about the last few days, ever since this Bring Me the Horizon thing came up, and I thought Reading and Leeds sell out before the bands are even announced every year. So it would probably be harder to get, like, Bring Me the Horizon are probably bigger than Download now. So it's probably hard for them to get them to come.
No, I wouldn't say bigger. I wouldn't say bigger than Download. Definitely not. I mean, yeah, you have like probably half of the bands at Reading. They don't announce the full lineup, but you get a bit.
Yeah.
It's not like Glastonbury where you have no idea who's headlining. So, yeah, I mean, they're just a popular band at the moment.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want them at Download when they're a popular band? I mean, what's the point in having...
What would they want to come, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely. They're all old school, metalers and metalheads. I'm sure they would be absolutely buzzing to headline Download. I got no doubts about that. I mean, they're just, deathcore kids at heart.
Deathcore.
Would they want to be on the same lineup as Die Art is Murder? 100% they would.
Yeah. Okay. You're probably more right than I am. But yeah, I was just a bit. I say I'm skeptical quite a lot on here. I'm not that. I'm really quite an upbeat, happy, positive kind of person. But yeah, I was a bit skeptical about it, thinking like Download hardly ever sells out, but whereas like Reading Leeds does, Glastonbury does. So they've probably got lots of people trying to get them every year now, especially now. So like, why would they pick Download over other ones that sell out?
The reason why Download doesn't sell out as much is because it's far more niche than Reading is.
Yeah.
Reading has a lot of popular music, and the reason it is popular music is called pop because it's popular, which means more people listen to it.
Yeah.
So if you had the same bands at Reading and you had them at Download would sell out. I think it's just because rock, metal, and alternative is more niche. But I think if you pick the right bands and bands that are popular and are current, you can sell out Download or big enough.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you right now, if they get Bring Me the Horizon, Ghost, Rammstein, Slipknot, or Metallica, or any sort of version of that lineup, they could sell the festival out. I just think generally Download has become quite stale within the last 5 or 6 years, and I think people look at it and think, I'm all right, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what they need to get back. They need to get to the point of, fuck, I better get a Download ticket because it's going to sell out.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, I might get a ticket. I'll probably get a ticket a couple of days before and then show up. That's what it's like now because Download never sells out. So they need to get that back. They need to take note from these other festivals. They really do. They're a bit behind on stuff. And
I agree with that. Yeah,
we talked about it before. We don't want this to go the way of Monsters of Rock and become an irrelevant festival that no one wants to go to.
No,
because something else will pop up and it will overtake it. So they really need to be careful with booking it. But sorry, we've gone a bit off subject there.
Yeah.
But I was just wanting to say, I really enjoyed the Bring Me the Horizon set. I thought they were fucking excellent. And I really, really hope that they've been, they're going to headline down either this year or, 2024 or 2025. I hope that at least he's tried to book them.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he's tried, then fair enough. But if he's just sitting there saying, I don't want to book Bring Me the Horizon, then this festival's going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere fast either. So, yeah. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Should we move on to quickly releases? I've only got one.
Yeah, me too. Same one.
Okay.
Same one. It's like countdown.
Same. Okay. Do you want to talk about it first? You introduce it. I just talked for ages.
Yes, Machine Head. The Unhallowed of Consciousness. I don't know what it's called. That was just a guess.
It's called Of Kingdom and Crown.
Why? Is there a song called Unhallowed on it?
Yes.
That's where I got it from. Of Kingdom and Crown. Fully unedited. I got that first time. So we were talking a bit about it before, and I said I've tried to listen to it probably 3 or 4 times. I only got probably 3 or 4 songs in before I got distracted. I've said before, like I said earlier, I'm a postman. I'm usually driving a van, so I can't listen to new albums or that much for long periods of time either, because I'm getting in and out of the van every 20 seconds. So yeah, I really enjoyed what I listened to. I think they've gone back to what it used to sound like. Before the very first thing that happens before the first song, or the intro of the first song, it is very reminiscent of the 2-minute intro that he does to Crashing Around You on the Hella Live album.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if everybody else noticed that, but yeah, it's very. It's either the same notes that he's playing or the same type of effects. Like I think it's like reverb or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
he's got
really,
loads
really
of stuff
long.
on his voice. Yeah, it sounds cool.
So yeah,
I agree. Definitely. I think it was fucking awesome. I think it's a great album. Like you said, you only got a chance to listen to the first few songs, but like you said, they were fucking great.
Yeah,
and it just
really
keeps going
it.
the whole way. Like, yeah, even when you get to like song 13, you're like, this is real. I was not bored one bit, and I think everyone's sort of under the impression that this is possibly the best album they've released since The Blackening. Possibly, it feels very much like a continuation of that album.
Yeah,
because the last one they brought out, Catharsis, it's got some good songs on it, but overall as an album, it was a fucking mess, and some of the songs were not good. I think every Machine Head fan agreed on that. So this is like a real return back to form, and like I said, Unhallowed is probably easily one of my favourite Machine Head songs now.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what I mean? It's brand new. Like Choke on the Ashes of Your Wake, My Hands Are Empty. There's some fucking great songs on this, and songs that they will sort of assimilate into their set list, and they'll just keep them on there.
Yeah.
Because they're just really, really strong songs. And from memory, they played Choke on the Ashes of Your Hate and Become the Firestorm when I saw them at Bloodstock.
Nice.
And they sounded shit hot live.
Yeah,
so
good.
Yeah, looking forward to sort of hearing that new stuff again when I'm not squished into a tiny tent at Bloodstock.
Well, they are touring over here as well, aren't they? Soon, I've forgotten the dates now. I'm sure I've seen
I'm on a Marth. I'm on a Marth and Machine Head. I think it's December, possibly October, December.
Yeah,
sort of time. So yeah, that'll definitely be worth going to with this new material, because I think just add this into all the rest of the shit they've got. You'll have a fucking great time seeing Machine Head, I reckon.
Yeah. It's like I said before, you want to see a band that are writing better new songs than their old songs, you know. If you're going to watch a band purely for their older songs that you've seen 5 or 6 times already, that's when you stop going to those gigs, because it's just not as
definitely
fun. But yeah, this is an awesome album as far as I've heard, and you said it's great. Then yeah, it's worth going to again. Right. For me,
100%.
I've struggled to go to small gigs for a long time. I've just not been interested in traveling to go and see a band. Don't know why. Just because none of my favourite bands come over here. They're all Swedish and they don't get big over here, I guess. I think one of the last gigs I went to was Sonic Syndicate, and it was probably about 10 years ago at Bristol O2, and they played in the top bar.
Wow.
The top like bar area, so it wasn't even like the main stage. Tiny thing with like 100 people. But yeah, if more of those bands came over, I'd love it.
Fucking hell, that's crazy. Sonic Syndicate, a good band, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you get a chance and you're a fan of Machine Head or metal in general, listen to the new Machine Head album, because I can guarantee you it will be worth it.
Yeah. I'll try and get through it properly again at some point. Well, before we go to the main topic, I'm going to say main event. Then we're back to wrestling. Main topic.
Now for the main event.
We just like to give a quick call out to ask anybody, if you're interested, come and join us and follow us on social media. I said earlier, we haven't been as active recently, but you know, I'm posting the Ultimate Lineup stuff. Is where you can find all the links to our Discord. You'll be able to find that in the episode description anyway. So if you want to come and join us to vote on that would be great. And like I said, we're trying to get our Discord up and running a bit more, get some more conversations in here. Brad's been awesome, but not many people are talking to him. So come and talk to Brad and us.
Do it.
But yeah, like anything else you can do for us is always appreciated. I keep forgetting that you can actually review or do like a star review on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify, go up to the top and give us a 5-star review, please. Nothing lower. Nothing. We don't like anything lower. Please.
Nothing lower.
Nothing lower.
Even if you really hated us,
yeah,
give us a 5-star review.
If people hated us, they would have switched off a long time ago, because our intros are long. But it's fine. That's what we do. So if you're stuck with us, then I'm assuming you like us.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yes. But yeah, and like I said, anything you can do for us, share us on social media. I haven't done that as well either for a long time. There are some download groups that I can post in. I just haven't since download really. I don't think so. I need to get back on that. But yeah, if you see us posting anything that you like and you think other people might like, you can share it to your friends and bring your friends over to listen to us.
Do it.
So yeah, let's bring Ronnie in to talk about the main subject, which is albums that are celebrating their 30-year anniversary this year.
Symphony Download!
Thank you, Ronnie. So I would have been 6 in 1992. So like I said earlier, a lot of these albums I didn't really get into at the time. I tried listening to a lot of them. Well, yeah, I managed to listen to most of them over the last sort of week and a half. But just a lot of the relevance of them, like what they meant at the time, is a bit lost on me. I don't know how much you got into them. It probably wasn't at the time of release for a lot of them, I assume. But you probably got into them not long after.
No, not that long after. But I do. Yeah, I remember. I can sort of. I mean, you can feel the impact of a lot of these albums to this day. So,
can you?
What they meant to the scene? Well, yeah, definitely. A lot of these albums changed a lot of shit.
I look forward to learning about what they changed. I see. This is the thing. So, like, let's jump into it straight away, and let's start with. Let's get the list up, and let's start with Faith No More, Angel Dust.
Can we do the honourable mentions first?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
these are ones that I don't want to talk about in full. These are just albums that I want to mention that came out.
Yeah, cool.
At that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fear Factory, Soul of a New Machine, which was the first Fear Factory album. So not their best album, but the beginning of Fear Factory, which is quite a big deal. A lot of people still really like this album. I think Demanufacture, the one that came out afterwards, was like a huge improvement on Soul of a New Machine, but it still does have some good songs. But yeah, so start of a journey of a band that's still going to this day. 9 Inch Nails, the Broken EP, which is easily one of the best EPs ever made. I'm a massive 9 Inch Nails fan, and that was fucking awesome, and still awesome now. And Typo Negative, Origin of Feces, which is again, pretty much the beginning of Typo. Another band that I love and has influenced a million goths and Elvis Low singers for fucking like 30 years.
Elvis Low singers?
Yes, people that sing like that.
Okay.
And speak like that.
I don't want to be me.
See, exactly. All the Elvis Low singers. So
I never heard
again,
that.
Typo, like a huge influential band. Definitely one of my favorite bands. And yeah, those are just ones I wanted to mention that came out this year in 1992. Obviously, they didn't make as many waves at the time as the ones we're going to talk about, but I thought they were worth mentioning.
Yeah. Well, another one I found actually was it was The Offspring, and it wasn't Smash. I think it was the other one, because there was two. I think was there two main albums before Americana. Was it The Offspring?
I don't know.
Origins or something like that, was it? I could be wrong.
I don't remember one that came out that year.
I'll have a look on me old Spotify.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Ignition.
Yeah. Was it?
I don't think I've ever listened to that, because Smash was 2 years after.
They had... Yeah, so the... Oh, yeah, okay. So they had 4 albums before Americana, which, as far as I was aware, which got them sort of massive. I know they had a lot of fans before that.
Oh yeah, Smash and like Ixnay and the Hombre, they're amazing.
I forgot about.
They're both
Ixnay
great albums.
Yeah,
they're really wicked albums.
But I think I've heard people talking about Ignition before as well. But yeah, I would have said if it was Smash, then yeah, I'm sure that would have probably made your honorable mention.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, very influential album that is.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I thought it was when I first saw Ignition. I was 100%. Like, oh yeah, that one's that one. Oh no, it was Smash. Yeah, and I forgot about Ixnay on Hombre. But yeah, I think that was the only other one I found. There was a couple more I found for the 20-year anniversary, but we'll go into that next episode. So you have to wait. I'm afraid, wait until next week.
Yeah, we said this was going to be a shorter one.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we've already talked for over an hour. But yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be that long. Adam will cut some of it out. We
Yeah.
chatted some absolute shite on this one.
We did.
This is going to
But
be
it was
so
all good
fun
shite.
to edit
I'll
this
struggle
episode.
to cut it out. Anyway, yeah. So
Just cut it. Just cut it.
cut it. Yeah. So yeah. Like I said a second ago, yeah, I wanted to talk about Faith No More, Angel Dust.
Yes.
Both this one and another one. The first ones I listened to, I only got about halfway through the album, and then I switched to another album. But the second song intrigued me with this one because it was like a really upbeat. I don't remember the song name, I'm afraid. But yeah, song number 2.
Is it Caffeine?
Could be.
I think might be the second song.
But yeah, it was
on Angel Dust.
it was like a really upbeat melody, but it was like in a minor tuning or something, or
It is Caffeine.
And when I was listening to it, I was thinking like, so this is the kind of thing. If I were to be reviewing it, I'd want to know the story of the song. I'd want to know what it's about. Why is it? Why does it sound happy, but it's in a minor tuning, a minor scale, and all that kind of thing. I'd want to go into a lot more detail than just listening to it and going, yeah, I like this, and so I struggled. I'm afraid. So yeah,
But did you have you listened to this album before?
No, I had never listened to any of these albums.
Did you like it?
Apart from a couple. Yeah, it was okay. It's not my kind of music. I do want to go back and listen to these all again at some point. But I'll be listening to a 20 year one. But yeah, like I don't know, it's weird. I've never listened to Faith No More other than Epic, that was like on every 5 songs on Kerrang and Scuzz era. And I didn't know. I had no idea. I thought they were probably like a one-hit wonder from that. You know, we didn't have the internet back then. This was again going back to like 2002. So we did have the internet, but not like readily available on our phones. So I couldn't just look them up at the time
and see what they were up to or what else they'd released or whatever. Yeah, I get
it's
you.
because that one song, it was always played. And I was like, man, this is like the main song they do then. Like, it's a one-hit wonder or something like that, like I said. And I never really looked into them after that. When I did get the internet, there was too much porn.
Oh, Faith, I mean, yeah, that's probably what it was. I mean, I look at it from a completely different perspective because Faith No More are probably, top 5 bands of all time for me. Yeah. Like, influence-wise on the music that I listen to and the music I make and the way I sing and all shit like that, like, is all thanks to this band, without a doubt. And this album, I think, like, when you're a musician, especially, and you want to listen to, like, an alternative rock, bit of metal in there as well, album that is everything and anything, this is definitely one of the albums I would recommend people to go and listen to, because there's piano, there's synths, there's metal, there's singing, there's down tempo, there's up tempo, it's literally fucking everything, which I think why this album is held in such high regard, because it is just like, you listen back to it now and you're like, fucking hell, like, wow. How did you make this? Because it's just, it's all over the place, but in a good way. Yeah. Like, it's not a mess. It's supposed to be the way it is. But, you go from like Midlife Crisis, which is like kind of like almost like a radio hit. And then you get to songs like Everything's Ruined and RV, where it's him with a piano singing about being fat. It's like, it doesn't make any sense, yet it does make a lot of sense. So I think if you went to a lot of musicians today and said which albums influenced you, I think a lot of people would say this album.
Really?
And yeah, definitely.
I'd never even heard of it before.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's crazy, isn't it, how something could influence so many people, yet someone who is in the scene, has been around the scene, listened to rock, listened to metal, wouldn't really have any idea about it. And I'm still finding out about albums now like that. Yeah. Like, people are like, oh my God, how haven't you heard this album? I listened to it and I'm like, how the fuck have I not heard this album? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know everything. There's albums out there I haven't heard that I'm going to listen to now that came out 30 years ago, and I'm going to go, fuck me, I wish I listened to this when I was 16, 17. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people would have that with this album, but yeah, it's just incredible. It's an incredible album. When I'm like trying to get in the mood to make music or to like inspire me when I'm in a band to write lyrics, I listen to this album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once I've listened to this album, I am inspired to go and write stuff. Like, this is a proper inspiration album for me, because Mike Patton's vocals, his writing, his vocal lines, his melodies, just everything, harmonies is just like at the top of what a singer can do from top to bottom, like, and everything in between. Like, I can't even tell you how many different types of singing there is on this album, because I don't think anyone knows. So, yeah, it's just like, it's hugely influential. But I think a lot of people would say that. So I'm glad that you actually gave it a listen and were like, okay. And you actually remembered Caffeine, that you thought it was cool that it was like a real weird fucking down-tempo song.
Yeah. It was like, it was weird. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything that I disliked about the music on it. So, like I said, it's something that I probably would listen to again, and just try and get into it a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one of the highlights of Download Festival ever was Faith No More playing in 2009. It was
that when everything was white.
I still watch. No, that was 2015.
Okay.
It was Red in 2009. Okay. The whole set's on YouTube. So if you are a Faith No More fan and a Download fan, you should definitely go and check out their whole set from Download 2009 on YouTube, because it is fucking excellent. So go and check it out. It's fucking great. So yeah, sorry, I can go on about. I could talk about this album for a whole podcast.
Yeah,
because it is one of my favorite albums of all time.
But yeah, I just wanted to explain that as well.
Yeah,
just why it's going to be the Simon show with me a little bit in the background. No, I'll give my input when I can. Yeah, but just to explain that.
Yeah, don't fucking beat yourself down, man. Jesus.
Yeah,
you got some good shit and some good knowledge in that brain. We just got to try and churn it out of it.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. It's all gravy. So yeah, so that is, an album that's turning 30 years old. Hard to believe it's 30 years, but yes, Faith No More, Angel Dust. Go and check it out.
Yeah,
if you like any type of alternative stuff.
It is hard to believe.
Which one would you? Yeah, go on. No. You're right. It is. It's hard to believe that it's 30 years old.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that all the albums we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I was about to say, it is hard to believe that that's 30 years old. And the Alice in Chains Dirt album. That was the first one I listened to, and I was listening to it thinking, this sounds new. It doesn't sound 30 years old. It's like
definitely.
Maybe, I don't know if it was a remastered version that now you can put things out digitally. You can remaster, and people haven't got to buy the same album again. You can just listen to the new version of it. So I don't know if it sounded if it's remastered. I just think,
in general, pretty much all the albums we're going to talk about now, that the reason why it sounded new is because it stood the test of time.
Yeah,
you could release Alice in Chains Dirt today, and people would go, "This sounds fucking awesome."
Yeah.
Same with Faith No More and all the other ones we're going to talk about. I think because they're they're really good albums.
Yeah.
And I think once you have that, and that sound, especially this Alice in Chains album, that sound just never gets old. A band could come out with that now and you'd be like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
It got very old for me.
So I think you're
quickly.
Right. Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of grunge. I'm not going to slag it off. No, that was like a... I thought it was quite a funny
I think
comment.
Alice in Chains, they were in the grunge lot. I don't think it's grunge music, though.
Okay.
I think they're more in the rocky, almost metal-y kind of... Grunge is in there, definitely.
Yeah.
But
give me a second.
I don't think it's just
I'm going to go stick Soren's new school uniform on because I'm about to get schooled. Oh, dear.
Go and put your fucking uniform on, you little prick.
Sorry.
No, but I get what you mean, though. So, yeah, so it just wasn't for you.
It has got that droney sound to it, but like I said, I was very impressed with how it sounded. I listened to it in work. First thing in the morning, I put both my earphones in. I didn't want anybody talking to me because I was listening, not because I'm not, because I'm antisocial. But I was like walking around the office thinking like, this does sound really good. It's not my kind of thing, but it does sound really, really good.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, that just tells you the production at the time was so fucking good that now it still sounds great.
Yeah.
I think when you get in a rock album or a metal album, I think when you get a sound right, it can sound new, until music is, imported directly into people's fucking brains. If you're hearing it through your ears, I think that some albums can sound fresh forever.
Yeah.
And I think that this is, mix-wise, master-wise, this is definitely one of them. As soon as you hear that, you're like, oh, that's really fucking good. And I think you're right. It stands the test of time, which is why you were thinking if they remastered this or re-recorded this or something. Yeah, I mean, it has some of the best Alice in Chains songs. I mean, Them Bones, Damn That River, When I Die Down in a Hole, Rooster, and my personal favourite Alice in Chains song, Wood. I mean, they are all bangers that are played, you know, on the radio, or people still play them on their speakers, or like some of these songs have just stood that test of time and people still love Alice in Chains to this day. So this was, and I think this was another, like the Faith No More one, this was a hugely influential album. People still consider this to be, you know, one of the best alternative / metal albums ever, still to this day. So 1992 was a big year for like influence on what was going to come afterwards. Yeah. So I think a lot of bands would reference this, and people would reference this as one of their favorite albums easily. But I'd never really heard of it. I never went into Alice in Chains that much. Again, my first influence was Scuzz and Kerrang back in about 2001, 2002. That's what I heard most of my music on, because like I said, we didn't have the internet. If you wanted new music, you had to buy it from a shop, which we didn't have, which I've already said on the show as well. I had to go to the town over, or I think Amazon had just come out at that point, and I was buying some from Amazon, but from like the recommendations. It's like, if you like this album, you might like this album. You'll like this. Oh, yeah.
So you basically had to buy it from the album cover and the reviews. And it's like the reviews aren't always reliable because... Well,
definitely not.
Yeah.
I remember some of my favourite albums and EPs getting absolutely slated in Kerrang.
Yeah. Well, Kerrang.
Like getting like 1 or 2 Ks, and I'm like, what the fuck are these people talking about?
Yeah. Well, I think Kerrang are like the ultimate brown noses. They're just following what's popular. They don't. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I've never looked into it properly. I'm totally with you.
I totally agree.
They talk about
a lot of magazines have to be though, because if you don't put in what's popular, you don't sell.
Yeah, that's true.
It's understandable. There are probably small stuff in there that creeps through, but I totally get what you mean. Yeah, whatever's in is whatever's in, and that's what they're into.
Yeah, but they follow what's in. They don't create what's going to be in by doing something new. They just follow Bring Me the Horizon and probably Gunstar Kelly. Is it Gunstar Kelly?
Machine Gun Kelly.
Gunstar.
Who the fuck is Gunstar Kelly?
I don't know. Probably him. At the moment,
cousin.
I haven't looked at a Kerrang in years, but the people who are already popular, so they try and latch onto that popularity and gain from it, not actually influence themselves, which is really bothers me. Yeah, sorry.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know they used to do stuff in the magazines like, you know, check out this new band, or they used to I remember them doing stuff on like Avenged Sevenfold before they were big and saying like, these guys are really good and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't know if that happens as much now as it did back in the day. I looked through a few old Kerrangs and Wet Hammers the other day, and that was quite enlightening.
Yeah.
I bought some Kerrangs from 1998. I've got some from 97, 98 in my own collection. I bought some as well. Yeah. And that was really cool to flick through them and see all the old reviews and pictures.
Where did you buy them from? Because I was thinking about buying like all of the Kerrangs and Metal Hammers that were out around.
Oh, eBay, dude.
The download festivals.
Yeah,
to
eBay,
see what
dude.
they were saying about each year as well.
Yeah, eBay.
Yeah, awesome.
Get yourself on eBay, and there's loads of old Kerrangs and Metal Hammers and stuff on there.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, fucking wicked. Shall we move on? Which album? So Alice in Chains, fucking great album. If you're a fan of grunge or, you know, heavy rock stuff in any way, and you haven't heard it, go and check out Alice in Chains. It's definitely worth a listen. What would you like to talk about next, sir?
Let's go Rage Against the Machine.
Ooh, sexual.
The group, the tunes, albums, define a genre. Oh, that's your notes. Okay. Oh yeah, I think it's got a good groove to it. I think the tunes, albums define the generations, and it's still relevant today.
He's reading my fucking notes, people. He's killing me here. So anyway, let's move on.
Like I said earlier, Rage was never really my thing either. It was interesting hearing. I'd listened to the full album actually earlier. Maybe because it was like they added extended stuff and had loads of live songs on it, and I got to the live stuff. And I'd only ever listened to the singles that they've released before. I've never listened to an album. So it was interesting listening to like an album of theirs. It was like actually choosing to put an album on. And the same for all of these, actually. It's like I'm doing something cool here by listening to something out of my comfort zone, out of what I would normally do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with Rage Against the Machine, I feel like I could have loved the music. I could have hated the music. It wasn't about the music for them really as much, was it? It was about the movement. So I felt like my opinion on it really didn't matter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think that this album, they were like right place, right time. Because this was like, 1992 was kind of the beginning of the I'm fed up with everything. I'm fed up with my boss. I'm fed up with my job. I'm fed up with my parents. I'm fed up with it. I just want to go somewhere and let loose. And I think that's what the 90s was. Grunge started it. And then obviously from Rage and Faith No More and that started developing into the nu metal movement, which took it even further. This is where it all started. So this was literally the beginning of that, which is like teenage angst, and especially Rage Against the Machine, because obviously they got the political element. So all the stuff in here is a lot of political undertones, political overtones as well. And I think that struck a chord with people at the time. Like you said, like you go back, you watch the gigs, you watch the interviews, you watch all the stuff. I mean, everyone was just like in the right place at the right time. Then they were like, yeah, I'm fucking angry too, man. I want to listen to Rage Against the Machine. I want to tell people to fuck off, don't do what you tell me, and that's the sort of energy that they want to bring. And that is, I mean, they've captured a generation. I mean, you saw how many people were pissed off about them not playing Reading, because the weird thing is like a lot of these songs are just as relevant today. They really are. Like all the stuff in there, all the political stuff,
I thought that
is still happening today. So you could listen to Take the Power Back, Know Your Enemy, Wake Up, and you could have the exact same feeling today as you did in 1992.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did wonder what was going on in 1992 to make them want to do that, do those songs, say that kind of stuff. I don't know much about American history, but I want to say, like, it made me angry today because it's still relevant. It's like, why don't more celebrities put themselves on the line for the listeners, for the workers, like they did? Because we're the ones that listen to the music.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, come out and give us I don't want to be saying come out and give us a voice, but that's what was going through my head at the time. It was like, maybe it must have been the music that got me angry and was like, we don't have a voice, not on our own. So, it would be awesome if someone like Bruce Dickinson actually gave a shit about the public and started calling out like politicians and stuff like that, because he's got the voice to do it. Maybe not Iron Maiden, they're big, but... I
don't know. It just kind of
artists.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some people do, but now they won't do it in a song. They'll do it on Twitter.
Yeah,
that's like
true.
These guys were writing songs about people, that were in charge of the country and were in places of power, but they didn't have a fucking Twitter to put it on to underground their age, so they had to put it into some songs. And if you wanted to be part of that energy as well, you had to go to a show, or buy a CD or buy a record or whatever. So the energy was it was more condensed then, where now it's more sort of spread. If Donald Trump puts out a shitty tweet, instead of writing a song and being in a band about it, you can send a tweet and get the same feeling from singing that song as you do sending the tweet. So things have changed.
That's true. But
it also tells you how far politics hasn't come in 30 years.
Yeah,
because we're still having the same problems into 2022 that we had in 1992. So that tells you that, politically wise, we really haven't come that far in 30 years. We've still got all the racism, all the hate, all the sexism, all that shit. I know it's got better in the last 30 years, but it's all still there. None of it's been solved. So everything that they're talking about here is still... You would have had as many angry people, not angry, but I mean people enjoying the music and enjoying that energy at Reading this year if they played as if you did as if they played Reading in 1992. So, yeah, it's a huge... And without all of this, the songs and the music are also fucking incredible, as well as the message and, you know, the energy that they carried at the time and they still do now. It's all fucking still good and still hold... Like, this is an album I listen to, like with the Alice in Chains on, and I go, oh... Just the riffs, the mix, his lyrics, the delivery. Oh, suits you, Rage. Like just so good. Like it's such. I mean, literally, Bomb Track. Oh my god, Killing in the Name of probably one of the most overplayed songs of all time. But also a fucking great song if you step back and actually just listen to it. Brilliant masterpiece, pretty much. Take the Power Back, Bullet in the Head, Know Your Enemy, Wake Up. I mean that. People are still rocking out to this shit now as much as they were in 1992. So Rage really are still current and relevant. It'd be great if they were to, you know, do a new album or make some new stuff, because they probably have just as much to write about as they did in 1992, which would be amazing.
Yeah. They must do. Like
they're probably not as angry because they're older and you think about things differently, and you're probably... you know, not as clinical and not as like closed shut as they would have been 30 years ago when they were young men. You know, now they're, I'm guessing 50s and 60s, late 50s maybe. So, you know, they're probably not as angry as they were in 92. They're probably angry about the same things, but they probably don't have as much to shout about as they did in 1992. But they could probably still put together some fucking good songs that other people could rock out to and get a message from, definitely. I agree with that, and I think, like you said, with the anger behind it all, when I got to the live songs on the album, you probably listened to it, I assume, and he tells a story about someone being imprisoned for 17 years for crimes he didn't commit. But at that point, I was thinking, like, it sounds like a kid's telling me all this stuff, because of how his voice is. It just sounds a bit younger when he's talking. It sounds a bit younger, but he probably was quite young at the time. And I did wonder if at the time there were a lot of people who didn't take them seriously because he was so young, which would have sucked. You know, what they were saying was probably really important. Definitely,
but some people were like, "Why take the Greta Thunberg thing?" Because she was 16, everyone just ripped on her because she was 16. It's like, but she's got a really good fucking point.
She's making a lot of good points here, people, even though she is quite young. I get what you mean, totally, yeah. And I just looked, I mean, Rage haven't made an album in 20 years. Over 2000 was their last album.
Really?
So it just shows you, I think they could legitimately go into a studio now and have the same sort of shit, might not have the same angst, but I still think they could make a really good album going forward. But anyway, let's not stay on this one too long. But
I just want to say one more thing on my train of thought that I said earlier, like about wanting more celebrities to come out and have a voice for the working people. Because I said about using Bruce Dickinson as an example, and then my train of thought went on to like, well, maybe it's probably in their contracts that they can't do stuff like that. They can't do anything that will put the fame or position at risk. And that led me on to, well, who the fuck signed Rage Against the Machine in the first place then, knowing they were like about this? Like, because everyone's all like we said before, record companies are businesses. They're out for themselves. They don't want to put themselves at risk. So they wouldn't want people talking out about politicians and all this shit.
Yeah.
So
some stuff's
crazy move to
surprises
sign
you
like
though.
that.
Well, because this was their first album.
Right, yeah.
So they probably got signed from like a handful of songs that they made, and then they went into the studio and made this.
Yeah.
And then obviously the record label would have wanted to put it out because they probably looked at it and thought this is really good.
Yeah.
They probably didn't take too much notice of, song meanings or message or stuff, but it obviously resonated with the kids at the time and still resonated with people today. So yeah, that is crazy.
Well, back then you would have had to play loads of live shows as well. They'd probably built up a massive following from live shows, yeah. But yeah, that's something that I thought I would want to look into a bit more and find out what was going on at the time as well. Who it was that signed them to release this album, and were they sort of anti-government as well, with the same message.
Have a look into it, man. Do some homework.
Yeah.
Love to get some more on that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, Rage Against the Machine. It's as good an album now as it was then. Go and check it out if you haven't already. I'm sure you've heard, Killing in the Name of, but there are better tracks on the album than that. It's hard to imagine, but there are.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on, dude. What other one? We've only got a few more to talk about, but what else did you want to talk about, brother?
Well, let's do them in order that I listened to them today. So, Rage Against the Machine was first, then Paradise Lost, Shades of God. I don't remember a single song from it. I felt like the production of this one wasn't as good. It was very muffled in my ears. I was concentrating as well because I was working hard and fast. No, I don't have I can't say I can say that. Nothing stuck in my head as I was listening though as well. Like I said, it didn't sound that great.
You say about the production, Paradise Lost albums didn't really get fantastic sounding, I would say, until Draconian Times, which was the album after this, I think. This was 92. Yeah, Draconian Times was 95.
I've heard a lot of people talking about Draconian Times, but
Draconian Times was like the best one that sort of hit home with everyone, and then they really kicked off. But this one was an album that sort of the albums before this, they were kind of fratting around, but this one really sort of sowed the seeds to people to say, I think this band's quite good. And then they brought out Draconian Times, and then everyone really liked it. But yeah, I just thought we would talk about it because people will probably know already that Paradise Lost is one of my favourite bands of all time. And I just think that this was a really good place for British sort of goth and metal movement.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bands have been influenced by stuff that Paradise Lost have done. And I just feel like this was a really good starting point for people that were getting into that kind of genre. It's also kind of when they started to put in more singing-ish stuff than screaming, when they were sort of transitioning between that. And then on the albums afterwards, he went to full singing without any screaming.
I did notice
and now
that.
they're back to almost entirely all screaming. They've completely gone back. Yeah, they've completely gone back round. Like the newest album, Obsidian, is probably their heaviest album.
Right.
So they've gone full. They've done everything. They've done synthwave fucking music stuff. 80s synth stuff. They've done this kind of Shades of God, which is like early gothic metal. Then they've just done fucking everything. But when you've been around a lot, you just go about the block. But I just thought it was worth mentioning that Shades of God influenced a lot of people, and it was kind of just that album right before Draconian Times came out, and they were considered to be, like one of the best sort of British bands during the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought I would mention it. But yeah.
I think I said before, I very much got into the 1 Second album. I had heard from a lot of people that Draconian Times was amazing. I suppose it was fresh, it was new at the time. But yeah, I could never get into Draconian Times. I tried listening to it a few times, never stuck.
Just couldn't do it.
Yeah. But
that's fair
that
enough.
was a long time ago. That was over probably at least 20 years ago. So I'll give it another go sometime. Like I said earlier, when I do have more time to listen to music, I will definitely go through and listen to a lot of these older albums again.
Well, I should say, like, if you're going to go back to this album or anything, I think this has two of the best Paradise Lost songs on it, which is As I Die, which is the last track, which is probably top 3 for me. It's fucking great. They released that as a single at the time, and Pity the Sadness, which is another really, really good track. But if you get a chance to listen to the song As I Die, listen to that, and I think that you'll really like it.
Okay.
Because it's fucking great. But yeah, if you like anything gothic, or you're into sort of gothic metal, or sort of the darker side of metal, if you like Typo Negative or stuff within that vein, go listen to Paradise Lost. Not even this album, any album, but yeah, if you listen to the song As I Die, I think that might give you a good little intro into what Paradise Lost do, and then you can kick on from there. But what else would you like to talk about, sir?
Well, then the next one, I was running out of time before going to try catch Soren, like I said earlier, when going into his first day of school. So I thought, well, if I listen to Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power, I'll be stomping around. That'll just make me stomp around this, and I'll get there quicker. And I fucking did.
Nice.
It helped. It really helped.
So had you listened to this album before, or is this the first time? You've obviously heard songs off of it.
This is the only Pantera album I've listened to. I think.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure. But I don't think I've ever got to the end before. Because I'm pretty sure. Like, so I think I've said the story before. I was never interested in Pantera growing up. I actually did I dislike them? I would say I think there was a lot of hype around them, and I didn't want to join in with the hype. So I was like, no, I don't like Pantera. And then
standard Adam move. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went to university. University sucked a little bit, and I had a few down days, and I was like, right, what can get me out of this? Pantera can get me out of this. So I started listening to it, and I listened most specifically this album, and I fucking loved it. But I think by the time I got to the end of the album, it did what it needed to do, so I stopped listening to it. I think that's the reason why I've never finished the album.
Yeah. I mean, how far do you normally get?
I don't know.
I don't know, but somewhere near. Yeah, because Hollow, the last song, is really good.
I don't know.
Like, really, really, really good.
But yeah, I think when I got to the end of it earlier, I was like, I've never heard this song. I've listened to this album loads of times. I don't recognize this song at all. I'm not sure if it was the last song, the second from last song. I don't know. So, yeah, I will finish it at some point.
Oh, that's cool, though. Yes. Again, like we talk about the albums we've already talked about and how influential they are. I mean, talk about influential albums. This is like, I know that some people prefer Cowboys from Hell because it was like the first one that really boosted them up. But for me, I think this is the best Pantera album, song for song. The others, all of the Pantera albums are great, but I think that this is the best one. And I think that the amount of bands that just cover Walk and A New Level and Mouth for War will just tell you how influential this album was to metal going forward, and how huge Pantera became after making this album, and going on all the way up to Reinventing the Steel. And it's we're talking about them now, and we know for a fact that they're on the Knotfest tour with Bring Me the Horizon and Slipknot, which is fucking insane. So it would be great if they could play Download.
Yeah.
If we could get Pantera to play Download, that would be something. Because a lot of people are saying that it might be a Knotfest day if Slipknot play.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Slipknot will book the main stage, which will be cool because we've had Ozfest days before at Download, and they were really good. So I think it might be cool if Slipknot were to play. As much as I've dissed their new stuff, I'd still like to see Slipknot live.
Yeah,
as I'm sure a lot of people would. But yeah,
sorry. No, I was going to change it.
Change what?
Well, I was going to talk about Pantera's songs that I've listened to, but it sounded like you were just going to flow into the next.
I was going to, and then you interrupted me, but continue.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
go on, dude.
I've got to get any gap I can, no matter how small.
Speak to me, bro.
So I think I wanted to look at Cowboys from Hell, the album, just to see if I think I've listened to that one. There's definitely some I know from it. Cemetery Gates, obviously one of the biggest ones. Cowboys from Hell, obviously, because I loved that on Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
But I've always remembered
Primal Concrete Sledge. You've probably heard Domination. I'm sure you've heard that song before.
Them, but I don't recognize the names of them.
Yeah, okay.
But there's a fact that a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, I've started hanging out with him a bit more again recently, which is really cool. But there's a fact that he's told me, it's the first thing I ever heard about Pantera that I've always remembered, and that was about 5 Minutes Alone. And he basically saw a guy in the crowd beating the shit out of somebody or beating the shit out of his kid. And he said, like, if I could have 5 minutes alone with you, I'd beat the shit out of you, sort of thing. And he wrote a song from that. I don't know if you knew that.
Nice.
That's something I've always remembered. And I was like, just looking here thinking, what album was it on then, if it's not on them two?
That's on
those two.
That's on
Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah, Far Beyond Driven.
And I know I'm Broken from that one, so there's a few others. So I'm sure I probably listened to a best of sort of album or playlist of theirs, not just that one album.
Well, one of the biggest albums that we listened to as teenagers, so around 2000, was the 101% Proof live album, which was the Pantera album, and it's like a best of. All the hits, all live, all sounded fucking incredible, and we listened to that pretty much on repeat for about 2 years at my friend Daniel's house. So all of us were into Pantera, like, back in the day. We're talking 2000. I bought Reinventing the Steel when it came out, and that's like 2000. Yeah. So even that's fucking super old now. But yeah, they're great. They're really, really great band. Great album. Obviously sad about the passing of the two members. Obviously we're not going to go too much into that. Great that we might actually get to see Pantera again. Won't be proper Pantera, but about as good as you can get these days. So that'll be really cool. And this is a freaking great album. Mouth for War, New Level, Walk, fucking Hostile, This Love, Rise, Live in a Hole, Hollow, Demons Be Driven. It's just stupid. If you like metal and you haven't listened to this album, you have to go back and listen to Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power. Listen to this and then go and listen to the new Malevolence album, and you will hear a massive influence from this album on Malevolence.
Yeah.
It's they're sludgy. They just remind me of Pantera in so many things they do aren't Pantera, but so many things that they do are Pantera. And I think that this album and what Malevolence are doing now really does go hand in hand. So it just shows you that albums from 30 years ago are still influencing bands that have released albums, this year.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool to sort of make those comparisons.
That is really cool because, it is easy to just assume that being a new up-and-coming band is a young man's or woman's game.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the new upcoming bands are young. So, their influences would be things that aren't dad rock, like Blink-182 and Pantera.
Yeah.
But I think Malevolence, they do look a bit older. They definitely looked a bit older when we watched them do the acoustic set at Download. Probably around our age, probably early 30s to mid 30s.
Late 20s, mid 30s.
Yeah,
I would say around there. But yeah, that's what I mean.
So it's nice to see that they're making it as well. It's not just young person.
I think the albums that we've talked about so far, like Alice in Chains, Faith No More, Pantera, the Rage Against the Machine, these albums I think would still make it into someone who was 20 years old's playlists. These songs would still make it into. These are the sort of songs that just haven't slowed down. They've just kept going. Some bands' music has just gone. It's 90s. That's it. Where these albums people have just continued to listen to them. Kids now will be, walking around wearing Pantera shirts and saying, fucking hell. I mean, they haven't made an album in 20 years, but people are still walking around in their t-shirts and saying, yeah, man, Vulgar Display, what a fucking great album. So, yeah, it's wicked that albums that we're talking about still have impact today, even after 30 years, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, as I said before, Vulgar Display of Power, if you haven't heard it, go and listen to it. Fucking great album. Pure metal. And finally, Ad, what's the last album that we are going to talk about today?
The last album today is Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark.
Ooh, baby.
I'm interested in what you're going to say about this one, actually, because I it's just another Iron Maiden album for me. They're all good to me. They're all amazing to me. So, I'll struggle to pick out specific things that are amazing about this one, if that makes sense.
Okay, because I think in my... Okay, so first of all, if you haven't heard it, we done a whole episode about Iron Maiden. We done our top 10 Iron Maiden albums. So if you're a Maiden fan, you're new to this podcast, go back and listen to the Maiden episodes. Me and Ad both done our top 10 albums and why we love those albums. I think this was number... I want to say... Let me go back and look.
Yeah, I've got my notes still.
It was in my top 10. It was definitely in my top 10.
So this is a very good album, actually. Very good. It's probably a bit too low on mine, I think. No, it's not better than A Matter of Life and Death or Virtual Eleven or No, it's about right. I
can't find it, my notes for the episode, so go back and listen to it, and then you'll be able to find out where I put it. But it was definitely in my top 10. I think I said at the time as well that I think this is an underrated Maiden album. It's not an album that a lot of people talk about being their favourite Maiden albums, but I think that song-wise it's fucking amazing. Yeah. And it also has my what I think is the most underrated Iron Maiden song. I've just seen it and I remembered and I thought, that's why. Yeah. So Iron Maiden, Wasting Love. I think Wasting Love is top 5 Maiden songs for me, without a shadow of a doubt. But I just think it's very underrated. I don't think a lot of people have listened to it, and I think it's better than a lot of stuff that people, hold in high regards, shall we say. I mean, Be Quick or Be Dead's incredible.
Yeah.
From Here to Eternity's great. It's not very Maiden-like, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
Afraid to Shoot Strangers is incredible. Obviously,
Insane.
Wasting Love.
Yeah, Wasting.
Yeah. The Fugitive's great. Chains of Misery. Oh,
Yeah.
And then obviously to top off the album, you've got Fear of the Dark, which is probably one of the best loved Iron Maiden songs.
Yeah. You obviously missed a few. You're probably doing your highlights, but they're all good. I can't think of Childhood's End at the moment. The Apparition, I can't remember that one either. But yeah, Judas Be My Guide, fucking good song. Weekend Warrior, that is probably up there as well.
Good song.
That's such an underrated song as well.
Yeah, they're really, really fucking good songs. It's a really good album. If you're a Maiden fan, especially, and you haven't, you're concentrating on what are considered to be the main albums, seriously, go back and give this one a listen again, because I think it might surprise you how good it was. And it's quite a timestamp in the Iron Maiden folklore, because it's the last one they done with Bruce Dickinson before he left, and they went through the Blaze Bailey phase of Iron Maiden. So it is quite an interesting timestamp in the Iron Maiden sort of folklore, because it's I mean, they headlined Donington that year as well in 1992. That's quite a famous performance of Maiden when they done Fear of the Dark. Yeah, that's really good footage as well. So go on YouTube and watch. Iron Maiden at Donington '92. It's really, really, really good. Bruce Dickinson's voice at this point was stupid, and I mean so good. Like this, from Somewhere in Time to this, although they didn't do the best albums in that time, when you get to this album, his voice is about as good as it got. Like, about as good. Like, just stupid. Just listen to Wasting Love, and his vocals are like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
So good. Like, fuck, his vocals are great. And the band are fantastic as always. But yeah, I think this one needs to be held in higher regard for Maiden fans. It's not really talked about that much, but... Yeah.
And I interrupted you again when you were going to talk about Fear of the Dark being the last song.
Did I? No, I'm just saying it's considered, it's up there, isn't it, with Maiden songs, and it's just a great way to sort of close out the album.
Yeah, and it's not very often you'll see the title song at the end, or probably
true.
The best song of the album. Maybe not the best song, but like one of their biggest hits as well. So yeah, a lot of people would regard it as probably the best song of this album, and it's the last song.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
Well, like I just said with the Paradise Lost one, it's quite rare because like As I Die is the last song.
Yeah.
It's definitely the best song on the album, or the most well-known song, but you don't get that much on albums.
No.
Possibly because people don't have the patience to listen to an album from start to finish these days till they get to like the big hit. But yeah, it's done really well. Yeah, and I love the artwork as well. Like I was saying before, Vicky got like a really rare 90s Fear of the Dark shirt, which she wore at Download. And I think that cover's really cool, really freaky and fucking wicked.
Yeah, it's very cool.
But yeah, very, very good. Great. As I said before, go back and listen to our Iron Maiden episode. We talk about Iron Maiden in length for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. So we're both big Maiden fans. I'm sure you know how much of a big fan Adam is of Maiden. I don't think we go one episode without mentioning, which probably annoys a few people.
Do you know a band we haven't mentioned for a little while?
Go on.
Raunchy. We haven't talked about them for ages.
Oh!
They said they were going to the studio a couple of years ago. I'm sure it was a couple of years ago. So hopefully that'll be out.
When was the last album?
Vices, Virtues, Vices, Visions,
2014?
Something like that. Yeah, 2014,
14, 15? Yeah, it's been quite some time.
Yeah.
It's been fair play to them. They haven't done an album for that long, and they've still got 37,000 monthly listeners, which is pretty fucking decent for a band that hasn't made an album in that long. So, I mean, they could be really, really, really popular if they went all out and started doing shit, but I'm sure they're just getting on with their lives.
Yeah. It seems that going off from what we were doing again, but yeah, I'm into a lot of sort of Scandinavian bands like that. And it seems like a lot of them aren't doing very much at the moment. The Unguided haven't released an album for a long time, who are basically the new Sonic Syndicate. A lot of the members left Sonic Syndicate and joined and formed the Unguided. They haven't done anything. Sonic Syndicate haven't done anything for ages either, though. Yeah, it seems like all of them have, I don't know, they haven't done anything for ages. Waiting for a new album from any of my favourite bands, and I haven't had one for a long time.
Yeah, that happens a lot, though, I think, with bands. I mean, some bands just they get on with their lives. They
Yeah.
do what they got to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird how some bands, especially good bands, when you're like, oh, this band's so good, and they're like, okay, bye,
Yeah.
see you later. But you know, if you've been in a band and you're a musician, you know how much effort and it's a lot to get together, especially if you're like a big tour, you know, a tour, not even a big, but just a touring band and stuff. It's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of things and egos and all sort of shit to deal with. I mean, it's a miracle that a band stays together and does even an album.
Yeah.
it's even more a miracle if a band does more than albums. It's crazy if an album does more than 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because being in a band is great, but at the same time it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me on that. So it is incredible that, you know, we're talking about these bands now on this podcast that done album 30 years ago. A lot of them are still going, which is mad in itself.
Like, System of a Down, Rage Against the Machine, they're fucking done anything for ages.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say, like, you said it's like a miracle that if they even get to the second album. I expect there's been a lot of bands who have stayed together just because of the fame they've got. They're like, well, we can't lose this now, so we stay together, even though they're already at each other's throats by the second album. Or something like that. Yeah,
definitely.
Got to have.
100%.
Happened. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt, bands have definitely stayed together longer than they should have for other reasons. But yeah, but then you get some bands that get on really well and are good friends, and you know, it's still tough being in the band with your mates, but you know, there are bands that people in bands with each other that still really, really get on. But you know, working with someone is very different to just being their friend, especially when it's your art. Like you seem to get annoyed about more stuff, and you know, there's just a whole like battle of what's going on and all that shit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being in a band again.
I think I heard a while ago on another podcast that apparently Linkin Park, they all have their own separate limo to take them away after a gig. They don't leave together. They've all got their own private limo. Like, and just as soon as the gig's over, they go and get a limo. And you know, the roadies, obviously, when at that stage, you're not going to be packing your own stuff away. But like, I thought, how do you go from being a normal, regular person to thinking, I need my own limo, I can't sit with these people? Like,
oh my God, some of the bands I've been in with people, quite easily, I think you can make that transition. Yeah. Really easy. I'm sure a lot of people in bands will agree. Quite easily to make that fucking decision. You're a great guitarist, mate. I ain't fucking sitting you in the car with you, though, for an hour and a half. You can get fucked. Yeah,
should we bring this short episode to a close?
So again, all those albums we've mentioned, they're all brilliant, still going. A lot of them are still relevant today, which is fantastic. So go and listen to any of those if you can. Like Adam said, next week will be albums from 20 years ago. So coming more towards the present day, very much, you know, in the noughties, 2002. So we're talking a whole range of, but I'll just give you a quick couple of bands now just to tease you. Some stuff we'll be talking about: Korn, Killswitch, Disturbed, Papa Roach. That'll just give you an idea of the sort of bands we're going to be talking about next week. So come back again and listen to albums that turn 20 and brought out in 2002. Adam, take over, do the outro. Let's do it.
Yeah, cool. Well, just say really quickly. Yeah, 2002 was my era, and I have listened to a lot of those albums already. There's only one album out of this list that I'd heard before, which was the Iron Maiden one, of course. I think the Pantera one, but yeah. So, but I think we got quite good conversation out of these anyway.
Yeah,
I
think you doubt yourself too much, man. We got a great conversation out of it. Easy, man. You're so negative towards yourself. It's crazy. You're always like, oh, I think I've done this. I think I've done that. You do it, man.
Yeah.
You fucking smash it.
Yeah, but So thank you all for listening. It's been an awesome episode again. Like we were saying beforehand, like we always come away from these thinking, that was okay, yeah. And then we listen back to it and go, that was really good. Actually, it's really interesting. And we hope it's not just an ego thing. And you guys are really enjoying it too. And so if you are, let us know. It's really nice to have that feedback on anything, any way, shape or form, whether it's just send a message to us through like Messenger or something, or or if you can leave a review. I think you can leave reviews on iTunes. I haven't asked for this for ages. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the only place you can leave reviews is iTunes or Spotify. Or Spotify, like I said, but that's only just the star review. But yeah, like send us a message or write to us, write a status and tag us in it so your friends can see it as well. Because they might want to come and listen as well. Hopefully we're that good that you want to boast about us. Like, look check, like a band, like check who I found out. Like, this is an amazing band. And so yeah, hopefully we're hitting that territory now of being boasting territory.
Boastworthy.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Good enough. Hopefully, yeah, we're good enough to be recommended to people that you actually know, which would be really cool. If not, recommend us to them for being so bad that they listen. Either way, get other people to listen to us.
Yeah. If we're not, then let us know. We'd love to hear that as well. And because like I said, egos get in the way sometimes. If there's something that we need correcting, then we want to know about it. If there's something that you don't like about the show, we want to know about it. Otherwise, the places you can find us, it'll all be in the episode description. But we're on all social medias. I'm trying to get the Twitter up and running as well. We did actually have a mention on Twitter on the 11th of June. So at download, I don't know if you saw it. Somebody, I think Jacobs put one of our flyers up in one of the toilets, and someone took a picture and tagged us and said, like, I already knew you through YouTube, but this is an awesome advertisement.
Nice.
But I hope I didn't screw you up by not keeping up to date with the YouTube, because I haven't fucking done that for ages, so I need to get back on that. But yeah, like I said, so we're trying to do all the social medias properly again, a bit better. We're Dear Download or Dear Download Podcast. You should be able to search for us on everything. If you want to send us an email, again, for any feedback, suggestions for other episodes, if you've got any suggestions for albums turning 20 years old or 10 years old, or even 30 years old, like we just talked about, we'll fit them in the next episode as well. Simon, where can people find you online if they want to come and find you?
People can find me as Simon Bond on YouTube. My newest vlog I've got on there is my Bloodstock vlog. So if you haven't seen that, go and check it out. And you guys can follow me on Instagram, Fonzy, FONZY_Simon. I
think I didn't actually say what our email address was this time. I think I said we got an email where you can let us know, but I didn't think we said what it was. So our email address is deardownload2003@gmail.com. And that's the number is 2003. There we go.
Nice.
Hopefully you weren't sort of on the edge of your seat thinking, I need to know what it is. Or worried, when you do the knock, and you don't finish it off, and people have to finish it off, and they're like, you told us you had an email. You didn't tell us what it was. And it was like this. And then I'm not going to finish that, so that's basically what I did.
What a bastard. He's just not finishing stuff off, guys. Adam, finish these people off.
I can't. Do I? They probably would finish themselves off.
They're already finished. Jesus Christ, this is getting bad, guys.
Yes, this is getting terrible. So yeah, we should go, definitely. It's time to go away. We've done everything else. It always feels like it's something I've missed, but I haven't. So it's a goodbye from Simon.
Goodbye.
And a goodbye from me. Goodbye.